I've been on Pokemon YouTube for over 10 years, and these 3 fan theories are the weirdest I've come across in that time. And we start off with this Venomoth being a child of divorce. In the Kanto and Johto games, Sabrina and Koga both use Venomoth on their teams, but amongst all this usage, there has never been a game where they both own one at the same time. In Red and Blue, Sabrina has one, but Koga doesn't. Then in Yellow, Koga has one, but Sabrina doesn't. Then Venomoth is part of Koga's Elite Four team in both Johto games, but is nowhere to be found in the Saffron City gym. But then in Fire Red Leaf Green, it's back with Sabrina. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee, Koga. You get the point. This pattern has led some conspiracy theorists to believe Venomoth is being shared by Koga and Sabrina, and an even wackier interpretation goes on to detail the following. Some time ago, before the events of Red and Blue, gym leaders Koga and Sabrina were happily married. They shared a house in Saffron City. Things were going well, so they had a child named Janine and decided to catch a Venonat to raise as a pet. It was the perfect Pokemon for the pair, because it's practically a psychic type from the number of times it's been mistakenly called one. But as some marriages do, the love between the two gradually faded. Or maybe Sabrina got caught cheating with me. So the two filed for divorce in Pokemon Court, divided the assets, and fought over custody of Venonat, now a Venomoth. In the end, they agreed that Sabrina would have custody for the first week, then Koga the week after, and so on. Koga also permanently moved to Fuchsia City. That is why it appears Venomoth is being passed around between the two. Excellent theory. It's just a shame that it has a massive flaw. Every iteration of Sabrina's Venomoth has been female, while in Koga's, the moth is male, meaning that these two are not the same Pokemon. Alright, I'll admit this does throw a spanner into the works, but this inconsistency can be explained by looking at Janine's team. Introducing the Venomoth timeline. Pokemon Red, Blue, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Venomoth is with Sabrina in Saffron City. Pokemon Yellow. Venomoth is with Koga. The gender of the Pokemon isn't shown in these games, so we can make that assumption. Pokemon Gold and Silver. Koga becomes a member of the Elite Four following Lorelei and Agatha's departure.
You're fired.
Because the Pokemon League is on the other side of the region, Koga would have to relocate, because Sabrina is busy managing her gym, and it's no longer practical to share. So they agree that Venomoth should belong to their daughter Janine, who now runs the vacant Fuchsia gym. Koga captures and raises a new male Venomoth for his Elite Four team. This leaves Let's Go as the outlier, but those games are part of a different timeline altogether. Do you think this is all one big coincidence? Or did these scenes really unfold in Pokemon's court? Our next theory is again looking at family, this time in the anime-verse. The identity of Ash's father has long been a point of debate, and with his story officially concluded without an answer, people are left to speculate. Could it be Professor Oak? Ew. Giovanni? The random guy they put in a special that resembles Ash in multiple ways and is also surprised when our protagonist's name is brought up, implying that he knows him somehow? No, silly, it's Pikachu. It sounds bonkers, but this theory initially proposed by Reddit user Random Synthesis might be more accurate than you first imagined. Here's how it goes. Ash's father was once a researcher in Professor Oak's lab, which is why the Ketchums reside in Pallet Town. Now, a Brazilian edition of a Cartoon Network magazine, the most reliable source out there, states that a failed experiment in Professor Oak's lab created Ash's Pikachu, which caused significant damage to research facilities. This theory proposes the experiment that went wrong was one involving Pokemon fusion. No, not the one that gives you free views, the type where humans and Pokemon merge. It seems straightforward at first. Combine Ash's father with a random Pikachu, run some tests, and separate the pair. Pikachu is a prime candidate to have a human being forcibly trapped inside it, since their species has been recorded to have a better understanding of human speech than most Pokemon. Actually, almost all experiments in the Pokemon world do, come to think of it. And while the fusion was happening, this one went catastrophically catastrophically pear-shaped too. Something in the system malfunctioned, maybe due to Oak looking for hot single MILFs the night before. As a result of this irreversible damage, Ash's father became trapped inside Pikachu with no way of returning. Now Oak knew that if this got out, he would never be allowed to research Pokemon again, and may even go to prison, so he kept it all a secret, telling Delia that at the end of a lab shift, her husband has spontaneously told Oak he was leaving town to embark on a new adventure. Obviously, she didn't take that well. But then, what to do with the Pikachu? He couldn't exactly release it, as he didn't even know if the consciousness from Dad Ash had transferred over. One thing's for sure, he'd lost all ability to communicate using human speech. So, he decided to keep it in his lab, hidden until the fateful day where Ash Ketchum turned 10 years old. When Pikachu first meets Ash, he instantly zaps both him and Professor Oak, perhaps to release a bit of angst from being held in captivity for so long. But once this Thunderbolt has concluded, his fatherly consciousness seems to have fully returned, and this explains a lot of Pikachu's behaviour in the first couple of episodes. First, Pikachu doesn't want to go in its Pokeball as it wants to spend the most time possible with his son in the real world. Pikachu was also seen laughing when Ash fumbles the bag trying to catch a Pokemon. This reaction might seem harsh from a parental figure, but it's simply Pikachu remembering all the mistakes he made when he started as a trainer. I mean, Delia tells us that Ash's father took 2 weeks to make it through Route 1, so yeah, not the sharpest tool in the shed. But when it's finally time to sharpen up and defend his son, he rises to the occasion by zapping an entire bloodline of Spearow. Several parts of Pikachu's behaviour can also be explained this way, such as its tendency to try and talk out confrontations before resorting to battles, acting fatherly to baby Pokemon, and, of course, his love of ketchup. The whole reason why Pikachu is so reluctant to evolve is because he doesn't know if his human consciousness will leave when undergoing the rapid physical change of evolution. Look, I understand. I thought this theory was some level 5 schizo posting too, but then I realized something groundbreaking. 7 years after Random Synthesis posted this theory, Pokemon released a live-action Detective Pikachu movie, and spoiler alert, the protagonist's father dies and his consciousness gets transferred into a Pikachu. This is not a coincidence. This is literally an explanation as to what happened to Ash's father. Please, trust me, steel beams can't melt Sorry, got a bit carried away there, but let me know your thoughts on how much weight this theory holds. However, our third and final theory on this list is completely earth-shattering, and will change how you perceive a fan favourite feature forever. Picture this. We begin in Driftvale City. I told you this was earth-shattering. Between the events of Black and White and Black and White 2, Gym Leader Clay, who's also in charge of construction in Driftvale, wants to expand business in the city after the closure of the cold storage. Over the Driftvale Bridge, he sees Nimbasa City, a bustling tourism hub. Attractions such as the Pokemon musical, sports stadiums, and Battle Subway brought in revenue from all corners of the globe. Then, an idea burrowed its way into Clay's head. He wanted to create a battling hub, but not your run-of-the-mill trainer gauntlet, no. This arena would be the greatest the world had ever seen. A tournament hub where the best trainers from all over the world would gather to compete in groundbreaking battles, the likes no one had seen before. He decided to call the project the Pokemon World Tournament, or PWT for short. Construction began immediately. A few months later, things are far from ideal. The construction aspect is fine, Clay made sure of that, but he struggled to attract interest from the rest of the world. And why would they be interested? These gym leaders and champions have jobs to attend in their regions. They're hardly going to spend their free time flying to some unproven tournament. In fact, no one outside of Unova wanted anything to do with the PWT. To win them over, he'd have to start paying them appearance fees, which weren't sustainable. The tournament was opening soon, and Clay had to find a consistent solution fast, otherwise this would be a massive failure. But miracles often come in the unlikeliest of packages. One night, while watching TV, an advert comes on for a brand new attraction in Burbank City called PokeStar Studios, which was on a hunt for budding actors to come and take part in crappy movies in exchange for becoming a D-list celebrity. It may not seem significant, but Clay viewing that one advert began the rise of the biggest scam in the Unova region's history. The plan was simple. Make a deal with the Battle Subway to supply Clay with a selection of its rental Pokemon for a percentage of revenue, and then make another deal with PokeStar Studios to offer some work experience for these budding actors, as well as plenty of props, costumes, and hair dye. Oh yeah, we're going there. Because every gym leader and champion you face in the World Tournament is nothing but an actor in a costume. They're equipped with rental Pokemon and instructed by Clay to fool the masses into 24/7 entertainment. And as we see in Black and White 2, this plan worked incredibly. Driftvale was now one of the #1 places to visit in not just the Unova region, but the entire world of Pokemon. And this explains so much about the PWT. It explains why you can always instantly find 7 people to compete with at any hour of the day. We learned in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver that gym leaders get what? Only a couple hours a week of free time? It explains why so many gym leaders use Unova Pokemon instead of ones from their native region. It explains why Red and Giovanni are here. Red should still be up a mountain somewhere, and Giovanni should be either behind bars or dead, depending on what theories you believe. Now, we asked Clay to comment about this whole affair, but because he's a fictional character, he was unable to respond. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more.